Hello, everyone. Hello, world. Hello, creatives. Hello, actors from all around the world. Welcome to the Nollywood Deal Makers, where we discuss business and the business of film and TV and all its value chain. My name is Musa Sunusi Ahmad, and I'm going to be your host. We all know that the practice of film production could never, especially the non the fiction area, or the story, the tragic, and all sorts of stories, even the non-fiction side could never be complemented or could never be complete without the service of actors. These actors are the people that complement stories, inspire stories, and tell the stories through their own type of skills setting. And in Nollywood, the Nigerian film and TV industry, these actors are coming from all corners of Nigeria, all crannies of Nigeria, to just come into the industry and contribute. But what is lacking is other people are just coming for just the eye service of the industry, while others are coming in as a professionals with their skill sets, maybe gone to film school, come and study theater, films, and at different institutions. Some even leave Nigeria to all the way to New York Film Academy, and even a lot more of acting schools in Asia, China, Japan, and all, even in the UK, just to prepare themselves for the industry and make sure that the help directors, producers, and all type of storytellers to make sure the story is told. But for Nigerian film and TV industry, the biggest challenge is uh, the skills, the acting skills, and making sure these actors are prepared. Not just, oh, hey, I know this producer, I know this person, and oh, just come in and just act. Forgetting like acting is a profession, is a profession, and we could be able to sell ourselves to international community. And this concern is one of the things that experts and observers of the industry are saying is one of the reasons why Nigerian actors are not being invited for a collaborative international works whereby you can see actors in Senegal, Tunisia, Egypt, South Africa are being invited to participate and it at an international work whereby Hollywood, British cinema, Japan come together to produce a movie. And that is why adventure movies, futurism movies, and a lot more of stories were very difficult to tell by Nigerian filmmakers because the lack of the necessary skills for the industry. And to do just a justice to this topic, we have invited one of the veteran actress in Nigeria, to discuss what skills the actors of the future need to possess, and she would digest this topic looking by the perspective of Nigerian film and TV industry, and why we are where we are, why our actors and actresses are not participating at the international stage, why our actors are not so international, why our actors are not bringing in the attention of international communities, just like they. You can see the Korean pop culture, Korean cinema, how their actors are becoming. I mean, they call it. Some call them the idols. Some call them the. They have all sort of fans from all corners of the world, and specifically Nigeria. Why Nigerian actors are not getting such kind of attention? And it is true that the reason is Nigerian actors are not paying a lot more of attention in preparing themselves for the rightful opportunities by developing their skills, by learning a lot of more of skills, by reading lots more books. I mean, let's prepare themselves. And to do justice to this topic, we have invited Chika Elumelu, and she's an actress. She's so much. She's so much. She can do comedy. She can do romance. She can do adventure. I mean, she's a lot, and I know she will do justice to this topic. Chika, welcome to the Nollywood Dealmakers.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's a good time to be here. It's a good time in the Nollywood space to be here. I think that it's there's so much that's happening now. It's like we're at the turn of a century, almost it feels like that. Um, and I'm just happy, it's a good time to be a practitioner in the industry. It's a good time to also reflect. And I like to come for fora like this because it gives you a chance to just go down memory lane and just share your experiences and just take stock on how great it has been. Nollywood has been a jungle for me. It has been the good, the bad, the ugly, but I would not trade the experiences for anything in the world. And I'm happy to be here, Musa. Thank you for inviting me to this Inside Nollywood space. My name is Uche Chika Elumelu. I am an actor, I'm an acting coach, creative consultant, model. I wear so many hats, but at the heart of everything I do, I am an artist. And I think that in any way that I can express that art that God has put in my heart to do, I will be happy to. So thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. We are happy to have you with us. Chika, for lots more of our audience, this is the first time they may be having one-on-one affairs with the mighty Uche Chika, the all
Hey
see
God,
on
this mighty
screen.
and veteran that you keep calling me God. I am just under 10 years in this industry. I am not a
Uh,
veteran or a mighty anything, please.
but you have paid
But
your
thank
dues.
you.
You have paid
Uh,
your
uh,
dues,
I
and
like to think that yeah, I'm still paying them. I have paid some and I'm still paying them. And I will never apologize or make light of the work that I do. I am an excellent actor and performer. I have put in the work. But I also understand that there's a lot more to be done. I will not assume to be the authority on some things Nollywood yet, but I can share my experiences and what has helped me navigate thus far. And you were talking about going for trainings and all, and it really struck me how beneficial that has been. I didn't study theater arts in the university. I was a student of geography at the University of Ibadan. I came out of university and it was really about doing what my parents really wanted me to do, study something in the university that didn't necessarily have anything to do with theater arts, and then choose if I wanted to do it as a career. And for some reason I always ended up in the theater from my second year in university. I was there till I finished. I would be like 5 plays in a semester, something like that, and while I was still doing geography. And the deal I had with my parents was, once I make a first class and I'm sure that my grades are up, then you allow me to do any extracurricular that I need. And which is something that trained me very early in life to do all I can for the things that I love. Sometimes you have to do some things in the meantime. I mean, we have actors who are doing like day jobs, for a bit. Don't shy away or don't run away from those moments. Don't say school is a scam. Students, stay in school. School is very important, whether or not it has anything to do with the arts. It always grounds you. And now, as an artist, as an actor, there are things about geography. There are things that I learned in school, but related to geography or not even, that have trained me for where I am today. In terms of like knowing geography is such a broad course, so like there's so many things about human geography, regional geography, that helps me today in roles and in the things that I do. So don't always never think that what you're studying in school has to be theater arts, but the main thing is what other trainings are you getting involved in apart from that. So like before I entered university, I am New York Film Academy came to Nigeria for a summer course. I went there. I always make it a point of duty to learn from anywhere that I can. So it's not enough to just have the interest and say that I like to act. Oh, I've always wanted to act. How good are you getting? Are you registering yourself under like a coach, or are you going on YouTube and getting reputable information to like work with? Do you go for courses regularly when they come out, like master classes, or even if you're not at the level of master class, but just like a beginner's course or something, just to keep yourself fresh? All those things are very important. So you don't necessarily have to have spent 4 years in university learning this. It's a vocation, it's a trade. You keep sharpening it. Even those who went to university to learn it, they keep doing more and more with it. And I don't know, maybe I'm biased though, but I will never think about the deficit in our acting space as the actors not doing enough. I feel we have a lot of hard-working actors in this space. We do have. It's just it seems like actors are carrying a lot on their shoulders. You know, a movie, you watch a movie and the makeup is not good or the dress is not good, and people mention mention the actor's name. Ah, why this girl? Ah, why Uche look like this? Why? And you know, maybe the story isn't good. Maybe the story isn't really well baked and well cooked, right? And you say the actor wasn't good. There's so many things that happen in the film space or not happening in the film space that kind of makes the actor look bad. Sometimes even the editing is bad and it makes the actor look bad, you know. So I think that it's not about whether the actors are good. You know, we have very talented actors. Are we putting the measures in place to help and to support them is the question. You know, why are we not getting competitive advantage, right? It's because the average actor in the Nollywood, in the Hollywood space rather, or even Bollywood, they have agencies that have publicity on lock. They have publicists, they have agents, they have managers.
Wow.
Like it's a norm. So
Yeah.
it's not about you as an actor just going to hawk yourself, which could be the case, but you don't need that in that space because yes, you're I mean you're earning money, you're paying them a percentage of your earnings, definitely, but they're doing the work of putting you out there. It's very possible to be a Hollywood actor without an Instagram account, right? It's not possible for you to be a working actor in the Nigerian space without having to do your own publicity. And that's a huge burden. We think it's just about, oh, let's just go on Instagram, and it is a lot of work to put yourself out there. In addition to actually perfecting your craft and making sure that you're good, you have to also go and make sure that, like, I don't even think up to 10% of actors working here have management. That is a very generous percentage, actually. I think more than 90% of us don't have management. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a
So I
problem
can be
because it
one
means
for
that
you.
thank you, so kind. Because what it means is that in addition to like getting myself ready and sharpening my toolkit and being, I also have to make sure that I'm the one getting my own jobs. I have to run after the auditions. I run after the opportunities. I mean, when you have an agent, it doesn't mean you're not still going to audition, but at least they're getting you into like closed auditions. They're getting you into confirmed gigs, especially when you go up and up in the ladder, right? At this level in my career, like my counterparts in other clients who already have like will be able to afford like an agent and a manager to do all those things for me, but I'm still having to live my life, do run errands, do all of that, and I'm not even earning enough. So it's like triple jeopardy because you're suffering in the space, and when people see you outside, you're like, oh, Uche Luelu. In fact, I went out yesterday. I went to the dermatologist, and the practitioner there was a fan, and she was like, and she'll probably be looking at me like this girl is like a big girl, she's earning a lot. And the truth is, we're not even earning as much money to support this lifestyle that we're set up for, right? And I'm not even talking about being extravagant. I'm talking about the basics, like getting a functional car, having insurance, having a nice apartment to stay in. How many of the actors can actually afford that? Even in Hollywood, that we think the grass is always greener, they're striking for the same thing. So I think
Yeah.
that the world of actors, like, it's such a difficult space to maneuver. And because film is such a collaborative effort, people know that there are people behind, but that's not the face. Those are not the faces they're seeing. They're seeing your own face. So you get the brunt of anything any frustration or any praise that they get to. I mean, people. I mean, when I'm talking about people, I mean like our audience, the paying audience, right? So I think that things like fora like this would actually help, be more expository and say, okay, this is what an actor's the confines of an actor's sphere of influence would be. This is where the director takes over. This is where the writing comes in. This is where editing and lighting and all that jazz comes in, right? I feel that being said, I believe that when life throws you lemons, right, there's always the chance of lemonade. And I think that can we be doing better as Nigerian actors? Is there room for improvement with regards to actually making the best of the environment that we've been given? Of course, that's very very possible. Is it going to be difficult? Yes, it will be difficult. So when people try to compare us to other actors in different climes, I'm like, it's very unfair, really, because if you convert the average earnings of a Nigerian actor, or the average Nigerian actor, I should say, to dollars, it comes to almost nothing. Almost nothing. And so you wonder, even in South Africa here, look at I've been on I've been on some shows that some South African actors would probably be looking at me and wondering, this girl must have made a lot of money, right? But that's not the case. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's like insecurity of there's job insecurity already on some part. The industry can do a lot better, and I'm even saying as an actor, I mean there are people that have it worse even in this industry, like some crew members, especially. So I'm not even going to start shouting as if it's only actors who are not well paid. Everybody's underpaid, really. But what can we do to make the best of the resources that we have? Which is what I like to share with actors, especially beginners. So when you come into this industry, just dead the idea that you're going to be a star. I want to be a star for being a star's sake. Being a star or being famous is just a resultant of what your work already sets you up for. So when you're good, when you put in the work, when you keep your head a good head on your shoulders, when you leverage on your relationships in optimally, of course you could get to be a star maybe after some time. You don't even want to be a drop. You actually don't even want to be a flash in the pan. You actually want to be an organic star, such that when the limelight hits you, you're ready, you're grounded, and you can say yes and no to the things that you want or don't want, as the case may be. But sometimes what happens is that some actors who are ill prepared for the limelight, they just strike, they hit big on one project and they get overwhelmed and they get lost in the buzz, and before you know it, nobody knows where they are anymore. But you want to be the kind of actor that has staying power. You from project to project, you're rising. People can see value added over 5 years. Oh, where was Uchechika 5 years ago? Where is she now? You can see a world of difference, right? That's the kind of actor that you want to be to be sustainable, right? um so here, social media is here for you. It's not the easiest thing to handle, but it is there in lieu of like a proper publicity budget for you. So normally as an actor, you would have, like, even when you're rising, you should have like an agent or like a publicity person that can put you in the papers, even if it's one or two paragraphs that can get you on some radio shows, get you on some talk shows, opening up for some big acts, just so that you're out there. But in the absence of that, or in the scarcity of that, I may say, because some people have access to that here, you can leverage on your Instagram. Your Instagram can't be your personal thing anymore. It has to be a work tool. I like to say Instagram is the LinkedIn for actors, especially when you're starting out. Put everything that showcases you as an individual and as a performer there in a curated manner. You can't, for instance, on your feed, it will be ill advised for you to come out and start, if you know that that's not what you want to represent. Every day you say you're an actor, but every time we see you partying or cooking or running errands, that can't be the only thing that you put out there. Do you understand? You have to put a very healthy mix. Some when you're at work, some about work that's already released, a bit of your personal life as much as you can handle, a bit of a side that shows you quirky, a bit of something that shows you serious, just so that you're giving casting directors something to work with. Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times I didn't have to audition for a role because a casting director just went to my page and saw something that he liked. And while I'm on set, they're like, do you know, it was because I saw this video on your stories and I knew that you could do justice to this character. And I'm like, oh, really? Who would have thought, right? And those are the little things that help you, and they really cost no other expense apart from the data that you're using to browse, right? So that is how I advise up and comers to be. Use your social media very well. Don't be tweeting anyhow. You have to be very guarded. You have to be very targeted about what you put out there, what you're allowed to stay in that space, right? Sometimes I put some things out there and I'm like, do I really want this to represent myself? I take it back. Sometimes I even try to put it and I have a rethink about it, because every single thing, if you had nothing to do with the arts, you could even just disappear from social media tomorrow, right? With no consequence to that. But as an actor, the truth is, you need to be in that space for now. Visibility counts, because when they're casting, now that I'm doing some of the work back end and I'm beginning to act in coaching roles and consultancy, and I'm doing some casting as well, I realize that visibility is very important. I'm recently casting for a gig now, and I saw one video of a girl I'd never met her before, but her vibe was so infectious. Like she was just dancing. She wasn't even acting. She was on set. I think maybe in between takes, and she was just dancing and jiving. And I immediately sent the video to the producer and said, "There's something about this girl. I think that she can read for this part." So fingers crossed, she could get the part. So how did she get it? It wasn't necessarily that I saw. I mean, I went on to see some videos of the things that she had done, but the first point of contact, what made me stop scrolling, was her energy. And that could very well be the energy for the character that somebody is looking out for. So you just have to, it's like throwing Hail Marys, yeah? But you just have to do it to keep yourself out there. You can't say you're good, my work will speak for me. Know they happen. You have to put yourself out there. Like I learned this the hard way. Some 5 years ago, before like some 5 years ago, I was like that, like, oh, let me keep my head down. I feel like, if I shout too much, I might look a little conceited. Or more, I had a conversation with some 5 years ago at an interview, at an audition, and she was like, why don't you have Ajoche clips on your page? Why don't you have this work on your page? Why don't you have your stage clips on your page? Who cares about being understated? Like, shout your work loud. And I thought I had a long talk with myself after that, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start looking. So I combed through Facebook, I combed through everywhere looking for clips of my work, clips from here and there, and I started putting out there. And 5 years down the line, I'm so happy I made that decision. And I told myself, every time that I have the opportunity to keep my stories up, I will showcase parts of myself. I get calls, I get texts from people saying, I thought you were too serious. I used to think that you were just like really stiff, but you can actually be very, flexible, right? There's sides to you that we are seeing now that we didn't see before. And that's how you keep yourself very supple as an actor. You can't afford to just be one way. And I mean, there's a place for having a brand as an actor. I will not understate that, right? But as well as doing that, especially if it's important to you to explore a wide range of roles, once in a while break the script and show them. So let's say your brand is a girl next door, nothing too fancy like that. Some Once in a while, drop one monologue that shows you as a femme fatale, for instance. And because you don't know, somebody might have been thinking of casting you, and they're like, ah, Uche is not that kind of vibe. I don't think she's gonna. And then you see, boom. I'm like, oh, okay. Hold up. And interesting casting decisions like that even help sell movies even more, right? Maybe not only in monetary terms, I mean like make it more appealing when you see an actor in a way you've never seen them before, and you're like, that piques my interest. I remember when Rita Dominic did The Meeting, and for the first time people saw her as, was it Clara? I think Clara, yeah. And they're like, we had never thought she would be a civil servant. Like, who thought that she would be cast in that role? But she did it, and it is, I'm sure it's an indelible mark in her career. Do you understand? So you always need to show those sides. You always have to, and personality is key too. When I watch Hollywood actors, I watch their interviews even more, their candid moments. If you see how, you can tell that they've had a level of media training. They know what to say. They know the right things to engage their interviewers. They know how to sell themselves. Oh my God, those people sell themselves. And that's one thing as an actor. Yes, you're a vessel, right? And you're going to portray characters. That's true. But if you as Uche Chika cannot wrestle the attention of a casting director or a producer, how then do you hold their gaze enough to even consider you as a vessel to work with? Do you understand? You have to be interesting. I tell everyone that cares to listen, when you go for an audition, it's not about the sides that you're holding. I mean, that's why you're there, but it's not all about that, right? They already know you cannot even portray that character to a T, because they just gave you those sides as you entered that audition venue. So I mean, you're going to do your best, yes, but what they're looking out for is the smile on your face, or if there's no smile, maybe if it's a grumpy character, your true personality is who they're looking out for. When you walk through the door, your audition has already started. Your audition doesn't start when they say, oh, are you ready, go, let the camera roll. No, your audition starts from when you open that door and say good afternoon, and you smile or don't smile, or you're shivering or you're confident. That is where your audition starts from. So what kind of personality do you portray? When you meet actors, you should be able to get a sense of, you go to interviews, or you hear people say, when I met maybe Johnny Depp or Robert De Niro, I never forgot that experience ever in my life. Are you able to hold people's attention? Are you able to engage in people's conversation? Which makes me to the next point of view. Don't always be hung up on the acting books, right? You're portraying life. Wait, are you still? Can anyone still hear me? I hope I'm not just rambling and
Yeah, I
stuff.
can. I can. It's just that you are very
Okay.
smart, and I can't stop you.
Oh my god. What are the things that you're engaging people in? I think that when I started coaching, like almost 2 years now, most people just are hung up on, oh, I want to read the acting techniques, what acting books, and that's fine. Do you understand? But I realized that acting is not about the textbook alone. It's a lesson on life. You could be an architect tomorrow, you could be an astronaut next week. You're working with humanity, and you cannot but be first a student of humanity. What goes on around you cannot afford to miss your attention. You can't be in a restaurant and for like an hour, and you can't tell me what the color of the chandelier holdings are, or is rather, or you can't tell me what the chief attendant is wearing. You should be so aware. You should be like a sponge soaking up everywhere you are. I know that there are going to be off days when you're just like not feeling it, but actively you have to tell yourself, when somebody walks in, what do you think that person is thinking about? When the waiter is serving you, do you think she's had a bad day? Do you think her boyfriend is disturbing her and she can't wait to get off work to just tell him off? You can tell when somebody's having a good day. You can tell from when somebody opens the door that they are having an amazing day. How do they behave? What are the things you look out for? Those are the things that help you build your character. I know not everybody reacts to news the same way, but that's why you can take different things. Oh, how A reacts, how B reacts. And then you can make unusual, very interesting choices in those moments when you have to now play a character. Because no character is created in a vacuum, right? You can't just up and just be giving. I can't just go to work 3 times a week and give Uchechika, Uchechika, Uchechika. You know, there are bits of my character on day two that I'm talking about, the girl who attended to me 2 days ago. That I'm taking something from her and I'm putting in, maybe the way she rolled her eyes at her second attendant, or the way she laughs or something. That adds so much richness to to how potent that character could be and how it could come across and that's why an actor does such an amazing job. You're like, I saw my auntie in you. I could see my old neighbor in you. I could see my boss in you, because you are actually giving them an actual person, not just some made up textbook concept. So the textbook is a guide, it's the foundation. You need to build a house on that. You need to furnish the apartment. You have to paint the walls. Those are what I'm talking about now. Those are the fittings, the furniture, the painting, the upholstery, all of that. Because you never stop. It's just an unending journey, and I hope that actors that really want to come on this journey are here for the real deal, and not just the bells and the whistles. Yeah, that's. I feel like I should stop talking here and let you maybe ask me a question. So just rambling and rambling. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I fell in love with with,
Of,
with
of, of
acting.
course, of course, you have said enough. You have said enough, and maybe let's do a kind of primary review of the world then. We talk of payments and package, but before then, is someone introducing himself into the industry and the techniques, the measures someone should take while pursuing a career as an actor.
Okay. Very
You
important.
said so much about let's say having an agent, a manager, a publicist, and maybe a sort of a PR and communication consultant who could be helping you with your digital errands and digital media management. Seeing that a 21st century
Mm.
actor must be present on this digital media. You said
Yeah.
you talk of Instagram being the LinkedIn of creative people, and and, and you just remember me a conversation I had with a senior colleague in the industry who said, nowadays, if you look at Toby Bakri, it's not
Mm.
that Jadi Osiveru always loved to work with Toby Bakri. Is that Toby Bakri, since his days doing some photography or anything like that, He portrayed himself as an action person a
Mm.
decade
Rand
ago.
is a very key aspect of his, yeah, of his appeal. Yeah.
And his social life, while he's in hotels, while he is everywhere you see him, you can see him, he's so actionable in the sense that
Mm.
Jadi or Subaru come on and just tap in. And it has been
Yeah.
working for both Jadi and Bobby Bakri. And today,
Yeah.
a few days ago, the world is just celebrating Bobby Bakri, but indirectly, the world is celebrating Jadi Osiberu, who discover.
Jade, because who feels like, yeah, and people, yeah, true.
Yeah, but what I'm just trying to say is Toby Bakri at a point said that he find engaging on social media very tasking and very consuming, very consuming. But
Yes, it is.
why Toby Bakri is not employing the service of publicists, PR and communication or digital media managers? Say, hey, I trust you with this.
Mm.
Why? Why the industry is not, why any actors, even celebrated one and well positioned or well fed people, are not seeking the service of maybe UTA, United Talent Agency, or let's say locally looking for a talent agent or a manager or a kind of publicist or any PR consultant to help them figure things out. Why are they not doing? I don't think it's just not only about the payment, but having the urgency to be international, having the wish and belief. Like if I walk my ways, I could be everywhere and be celebrated. Because I once had DiCaprio said, "Hey, it's not that the world now is seeing more of me as a climate change activist, but before then, I am an actor and I'm a producer. But I celebrated to be an actor because even me being a climate activist, it has shaped my acting career. He said, if
Yeah.
you see the role he played of recently, you can realize his climate activism, his him being part of the envoy of UN climate envoy,
Mm.
being part of lots more of missions, have shaped him to be doing superb characters. While he is getting old, he's innovating. You can see the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's getting old, and he have said if he have done it right in handling his PR, his publicity, he may have been celebrated more than he's been celebrated now. While
Well,
actors in Nigeria are not investing in this process, having agent, having managers.
First of all, I'm not. This position is not. I'm not speaking for the actors. I'm in no way an A-lister right now, so I can't speak for them because I don't have the same set of realities that they do. But what I can posit about that, or like try and understand about that, is it's not it's not about whether the actors don't want to, because it's very nobody wants to have to stomach all those responsibilities by themselves. I mean, posting regularly is no joke. I don't think anybody genuinely likes that burden. um but the structures that are necessary for those things to thrive are the things that we don't have here in Nigeria yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? For instance, now, there are certain things that there are certain frameworks, right, that have to be in place for you to have the wherewithal to just maintain all those services. Do you understand? And you're thinking, it might just look like it's not just about the money, but it's not. It's a combination of the legal system, the communication system, the unions. All of those things come into play. So I feel like there's a problem when we always want to copy what works in Hollywood without understanding that America works differently. America has is shaped in such a way that Hollywood can thrive with all those machinery, right? Do you understand? They have a proper legal system, they have proper communications, they have all these things on lock already. Here in Nigeria, it's only a few that have access to all those things. Do you understand? So why would an up and coming star, for instance, who's just like getting their face in the sun or their day in the sun, why would they want to try and start to afford services like that that they may not be able to maintain? or at the end of the day they're just paying money and they're not getting the real rewards. It's because already there's a problem of scale already. Do you understand? Nollywood has other problems to solve. So they just feel like, Omo, let me just be riding this Instagram wave. I would do that if I were an A-lister. I'd probably just ride the Instagram wave, especially when I can get up to like 500,000 followers or even a million followers if I'm lucky. I will ride that wave. I will be on Twitter with maybe 150,000 followers on Twitter or something, and then I'm good to go, right? Because I just feel I'm in the minority anyway. Let's say less than 10% of these people, of my practitioners, have management anyway. So, my dear, I will just stick with maybe having an agent and a manager, and publicity, I will rough it myself. Because for now, we don't have those frameworks in place as a nation. So it's bigger than a Nollywood um problem per se, because I feel like Nollywood is still young. We're still growing, relatively growing. There are a lot of things. Money is just coming in. I mean, there's more money that's in the industry right now than there was 15, 20 years ago. So I think that these things are getting in place. Are they going to happen? Is it possible for it to happen? Of course. We have agencies coming up. I mean, even the management agencies are not even many enough to accommodate all the actors. Do you understand? So we need to first build all that infrastructure first. And then when they are up and running, which right thinking A-lister or even B-lister will not want to avail themselves of those services? They would. It's just that they're not that many or readily available. So they would rather just ride the Instagram wave, especially when you can make money off of Instagram. People are making money on Facebook in hard currency. So they would rather do that, enjoy the benefits, get the publicity that they want, get the jobs while at it, and so why would they really feel like, I don't feel like they have enough value that they're going to get for that money yet. Not everybody is. So the few that can are enjoying that, and the rest of them are just feeling, well, let me ride this wave for what it is. And that's why some people would prefer to just get fame at any cost, get engagement, just get the buzz. Whether it's bad, you hear people say there's nothing like bad publicity. Just get people talking about you, so that you can be trending and so that you can at least get the buzz out there. So it's like a guerrilla, it's like a guerrilla way of getting publicity. It works for some people. Some of us prefer, other means of getting publicity, really. But some people that can handle that, fine. I mean, it works. So it's not as if there's only one way that anybody can stay in the limelight. I mean, even in that Hollywood, there's some people who still want to be on social media. Some people have chosen never to be on social media. So it's not like a one size fit all, right? It's just, what brand are you trying to represent? And I think that it also comes down to what kind of brand you want to have as an actor. Is mystery going to be your thing? That's like a Genevieve way. I mean, Genevieve is a proper star, like an A-list, and she has mystery on lockdown. That is her brand. She gives us like every maybe 6 months, she'll just give us one picture on her stories. And that's fine. Her fans love it. And that's her brand. For some other actor, like Bisola Ayola, lovely, talented, for her, and let's say a Bimbo Ademoye, they have the funny sides that they have to them, right? The character creation, content creation, they are doing funny videos, they switch accents, they are very, they have a very electric kind of presence or like personality. That's their brand, and it works. And you can't say one is more A-lister than the other, or one is more successful than the other. It's just, are you staying, the means that you have available to you and you're using, are they going to help you achieve that brand promise, or let's say the brand that you're putting out there, is it going to help you? That's really what you have to ask yourself. Am I going to be the bad girl, bad guy? I mean, are you going to be the bad boy or the bad girl? Are you going to be the, oh, Jesus baby? Because that's also a thing. Are you just going to be the dark mysterious? Are you going to be the tomboy? It varies. Do you understand? So I think it now boils down to what your personal goals for being an actor is, or are going to be, rather. But at the heart of it, so that I don't stray too much, always remember that the anchor is still that you have to be good at this thing. We are so many. Like, we are male, female actors, we are many. So you have to know your work inside out. You need to be at the point where you can wake up, they can wake you up and say, what is the, and you're able to deliver. That is how you need to get to before you even start saying, oh, let me because what are you publicizing? What are you branding if there's no substance? Which now brings me to how, putting the cart before the horse can be a problem. You have to make sure that that craft is on lock. You know, I'm not going to start telling you the obvious. I mean, obvious things like you have to get your techniques right, you have to get your exercises right, you have to be supple. If possible, try and do one theater show every year if you can, or at least intern with a theater production, even if you have never been on stage before. And let's say the stage is scary to you, intern, go to their rehearsals, watch, learn, participate in their exercises, in their rehearsals, even if you never get to be in the show. It helps you. Like I make it a point of duty. I just got off one at Terra Culture for the whole month of August. And at the end of August, today is the last day of August, and I feel so fit. I feel fit as a fiddle, mentally, physically, because I've had 4 weeks, 16 shows of being on my feet for like an hour, 2 hours every day, more than in fact. So imagine what that's doing for me as in acting wise. Right now I feel like I'm ready to I just booked a new gig yesterday, and I'm like, I'm ready to put this new energy to use, right? You have to always be about the work. The bells and whistles, like I like to call them, the going for premieres, looking pretty, looking nice, doing fun videos, those are just things to garnish, right? Just like salt or pepper, just spicing up. But nobody wants to eat a meal of spices. You still have to have the meat of the work. The meat is the work. Your rice, for instance, I mean, you're going to spice up your jollof rice and all, but the rice is the meat, is the real deal. And I feel like in the midst of all the noise, it's very important for you not to lose sight of that. You know, what exercises are you doing? Like I talked about being an observer of life. That's one. When you wake up in the morning, do you stretch? Do you stretch? Not just, I like to say, do you also stretch your imagination? Because people think it's only just you're stretching your body. That's good. But are you stretching your imagination? Do you think of scenarios in your head and you say, how would this person react? How would I do this? Do you have conversations with characters in your head? Do you come across things online, material online, and feel like I should try that in front of the mirror? And when I get enough confidence, I'll try it in front of a camera and tape it as many times as I can until it's good. Are you using your skills of memory, of using your emotional memory well, or belief in imaginary circumstances, which is my favorite, personal favorite? Absolute belief in the circumstances. Are you charging your emotion? Are you channeling your energies very, very well? It's very important. So it's not about knowing the big names. Don't get to about just knowing the textbook. Are you actually living it on a day to day? Whatever you read from your acting texts and your books, do you make sure that you don't rest until you practice them? That is what keeps you going. So I have a lot of good actors. I know a lot of good actors who are not good with their publicity. It's easier to help them to be good with PR. But it's not as easy to publicize somebody who's not good to start with, because you can only get them so far. By the time you get them into one gig and they bomb, they get another one and they do even worse. Who's going to get them the third time? Nobody's going. I mean, the word is going to travel fast and nobody's going to hire you. But when you're good and you're not just doing enough publicity, we can still help your matter small. So that's what I always tell like my students: get that on lock, get the confidence on lock, read, study, watch videos, and even watching comments and watching actual content rather. Have the shows that you know that you could be on a project today, and you know that this character that I need to understudy a character that is in a series for this. I do that a lot, and I just have to get that series and watch that character. Not that you're trying to replicate what they do inside out, or like hook, line, and sinker rather, but you just get one or two things from there, get some inspiration, and then you go. This thing is like painting. You get different paints, colors of paint rather. You get red, you get blue, you get orange, you get different, and you're just putting tiny strokes. It's never going to be all in one box for you to just dump. No, it's going to be different places you're picking, so that when you're getting praised for your work, it's more like in the details. People are the ones picking out your performance, where you're like, the way you did this scene, the way you shook this person's hand, the way you stood and said nothing. They are even picking out that's when you know you do a good job, because people are picking out moments in your character, moments, when you said this and you looked away, or when you said this and you stood. It's very important. Your director is the, and it also brings me to directing too. A lot of times it's not just that they're bad actors. Sometimes people are badly cast or badly directed, right? So casting directors and directors also need to do better. You have a character that looks a certain way or feels a certain way on the pages. Try as I know that they're trying to make money and say, oh, let's cast the popular actors. I'm not even going to hate on that because that's valid. I mean, if you grow your followers to 700,000, there are benefits. There should be benefits like getting cast for that. But here's the thing, at least cast them in a role that you know that they fit. You can't sacrifice how this character is going to come across just because you want to hire someone that has 1 million followers. At least try and help yourself a little, so help yourself. That sort of thing, even if it means like casting A-listers or people that have plenty following in some roles, let's say cameo roles or certain roles, then your lead can be someone who's relatively unknown. At least do that. Don't do yourself a disservice like that. So some of these problems too are there. So it's not just about just the actors, and I'm not even trying to lay blame, right? Actors, but I will not just be here and entertain any actor slander because I will defend actors any day. There is a lot that we're taking on our shoulders, too much, in fact. And I think that when we have the structures in place that can even support the actors, everybody even gets supported. Do you understand? When the crew does their work well, when the directing is done well, when casting directors are on point, when producers come correct, the actors will look great. You have to be really dense for you to not look good when you're in the right costume, in the right makeup, in the right story, you know, well cooked, well rounded, with right directing, the right lighting. You would have to really be terrible as like you would have to be as useless as a rock not to shine. And that's what happens there. Like even in the award ceremonies, like the award speeches, if you hear how many people that they have to thank, it's because it takes a village. I mean, for them to even look, there's a way a character already looks that it looks as if their acting is so wonderful. It's the makeup or the prosthetics that are looking really good, so it helps the acting even come out. Do you understand? But here, imagine if you're already going to set with your own costumes. How can I feel like a character when I'm going with my own shirt? I'm going with my own shoes. I'm going to set. And I'm not even trying to knock producers because, I mean, it's hard out there for a lot of people. But I'm just saying these are the issues. Like, when you're already costuming yourself, sometimes you even make yourself up in some extreme cases. When you have to do certain things, you have to be responsible for yourself. Like you're closing late, you have to start making it from the island back to your house on the mainland because there's no accommodation allowance for you. It's just a lot. It's hard to really come out and shine when you have so much that's already burdening you. So I feel like when the industry can solve all those problems and make sure that every department is on point, then acting is solved. Like in a snap, it is. It's not even a hard thing at all. And so kudos to every actor who's doing their best, A-lister or not, who's pushing through. My deep respect, as in like I have so much respect for it because it is a jungle out here. It is a real ghetto, and we laugh and smile about it because what can we do? I mean, we just have to have a positive attitude towards it as we work to get things better. And that's why I'd like to, speak to young, especially up and comer artists, up and coming artists rather. You know, I like to speak to them, even if it's not like in an organized forum like this. I like to personally advise them, check up on them, ask them questions, or they ask me questions and I answer. Just doing my own piece in making this place a better. Sometimes they get offers from producers and they call me, is this person trying to lowball me? What should I ask for? What should I do? And if I can't give them an answer, I have somebody I can call to help them out. It's what we can do just to help each other because really this industry can't grow until it becomes a proper like a real industry where things and machinery and infrastructure can work as they're meant to, where unions can work and actually fight for people and protect their practitioners. And this is not just even the acting unions, like every union across board, right? where we can have representation, where people can't just get away with owing actors. I mean, there's some of my fees that I'm never going to collect again because from 7 years ago somebody still owing me 100,000. I imagine what 100,000 was 7 years ago or 6 years ago. All those things, like so we have legal frameworks in place where a producer can't just abscond with my 100,000 naira and leave me high and dry. What if I didn't have somewhere to go? These are all the things, and we're getting there. At the risk of sounding very cliche, God will help us, but really, I think that we also need to help ourselves. um, God can only do so much. We need to get up and build this industry the way we want it to be, and God help us. Yeah. Can you still
Ah,
hear me, Musa?
right. You are, yeah. Yes, yes. You have said a lot, and this brings my attention. Like, uh, let's talk to the right gist and see how we could wrap it up. What
Okay.
are the skills the actors of the future need to possess in Nigeria?
Okay, so I think I've already touched on some of these things, but because this question is coming here, so just so it's more it has a proper sense of direction. The first and foremost skill that you need to have is discipline. I can't even overemphasize it. The power of discipline is immense. I used to have a lecturer in school. Well, he was not exactly my lecturer, but a theater arts lecturer who always talked about the discipline of an actor will always shine through. It doesn't matter the part you play, how big or small it is. The discipline of an actor will always shine through. You can be a tree on stage, you can be a clock on stage, you can be a bell ringer on stage, and you do everything right on cue. Somebody will notice. And you'll be shocked. It's somebody who matters, like a casting director or somebody who, or a scout, that will notice something like that. I have gotten recognized for some very obscure roles, and I'm wondering, somebody picked that out. Yes, because you did the work, you stayed on course. And in an industry where there's so many distractions, it's good to play, to go out, to have a social life. But even in your social life, there are things out of your social life that you always need to reserve, like in a bank, and channel towards your work. Remember that as an actor, I can't even remember the last time I just had mindless fun without having to. I mean, there's fun, and there are times you are not a robot now. You're not acting or you're not working 2/7. There's times for that, and then there's also times for you to sit down and reflect on your personal life. Okay, what am I taking out of this? What am I channeling? Apart from having fun and just going out, this is time for work. And because we're actors, work tends to look like play for us. You need to be very, very careful. It's a very thin line. You might think, but I'm working now. We're having fun now, but you're not really working, are you? So the discipline to know the difference, especially when, and always keep a writing pad. It always helps you, whether it's virtual, like on your phone tab, like or your tab, or your computer. Always write things down. It's very important. It will help you stay on course. It will help you condense your thoughts properly, especially because like our brains are working 2/7, where things are jamming up in the brain. You need to always have a writing culture, a note keeping culture. um so that's your discipline, and also the power of focus, in addition to being disciplined, right? The ability to, the skill of knowing how to channel. So when you've put all these things together, you've taken your notes, there's a place for having to put all these things together and know where to apply them, right? Knowing and doing exercises, especially exercises, are the things that will help you to stay flexible, stay on your feet. It's very important for you to have refresher courses from time to time. A lot of acting coaches will tell you the same thing. You need to keep that acting muscle exercised. It has to be flexible. Improv. I recommend improv sessions for any actor, and that's why I like stage, because there's more allowance for you to do improv there. Go for acting classes and learn the art of improv. I'm not. I'm not even sure I'm on the school of thought that some people feel like you can't learn improv. It's inborn or not. I feel it can be trained. if you do the work well enough. There's also conversational skills, right? Like I talked about, having your person shine through. Your personality is also as important, because that's what gets you the gig sometimes. Like Morgan Freeman said, it's not about, the hardest part is actually getting to do the work, is actually getting the job. But once you've gotten the job, you have to do it. So that's the easier part, right? So conversational skills, you always have to know what's happening in the world. Can you hold conversations in the political sphere? Can you hold do you know what's going on climate change wise? Do you know what's going on I mean in the entertainment space? Do you know what's going on in sports? Do you know, just have a little bit, and you don't have to be like an encyclopedia or anything, but just know little bits of everything that can get a conversation going, because you really don't know who you're talking to. Like, you could even be in an elevator, and you're actually pitching yourself there without even knowing. And I've had many situations where I have a conversation with someone about the weather, or I have a conversation about a country in the world. I mean, I did geography, so it's very easy for me to hold those conversations. And because geography is such an all-encompassing course, people just ask me, like, a little about everything. Like, what did you study? And then as we go on in the conversation, they're like, oh, you're an actor. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. So as actors, we should actually be the most rounded people on earth, because we are the only ones who get to be anything that we want to be at work. We could be a doctor today, an architect next year, on a different show, you're a nun. It's endless, the possibilities of people or roles that you could portray, right? So it has to show in how you carry yourself and comport yourself, and the way you're presented as well. So yeah, getting the gigs, keeping them, being relevant in the space, and also giving back. So collaboration is another skill you need to master. Oh my goodness, I can't even overemphasize it, because as an up and comer, you may not have the big gigs yet. To be honest, most producers want to make money. So they may not take a bet on you because they've never seen you before, they've never heard your name. But when you're going out, keep your eye out for up and coming directors, up and coming cinematographers, up and coming editors like you. Because those are the people that you're counting on to do short films, to do experimental projects, because they have nothing to lose, just like you. I mean, you might as well put yourselves out there. There's YouTube, there's Instagram stories, there's Instagram TV. There are many places that you could put your content out for free, just your data that you need, and the world can see and hear what you have to say. So it's very important for you to network. I mean, vertical networking is good, but horizontally network as well. Go somewhere. Don't just be looking for the big guys. Look at the person. Some people are so hell bent on looking for the big guys in front, and they forget the future big guys who could be sitting beside them. It's very important that you collaborate, put stuff together. It doesn't have to be big money. With 50, what am I saying? With 25K, I've had mentees who did a movie with 25K. During the lockdown, I made a movie with my friends for less than 5K, about 3,000 something naira. We made a movie on our own virtually, and we entered into a competition. We won that competition for that week, like innovative and all. So it's important for you. What is that in your hand? What do you have? Use it. Don't just complain that nobody takes a chance on me. It's when you start to take a chance on yourself that people can even see you and want to do more. Nobody's going to get you from the scratch. Maybe your mother or your father, but no movie exec is going to do that. So you need to get the ball rolling. It's very important. So yeah, collaboration, communicative skills, power, focus, and discipline. Of course, hard work is cannot be overemphasized. Prayer, whatever faith that or creed that you answer to, it's very important for you to be very spiritually sound, because this business is essentially spiritual. My chaplain in secondary school used to say life is essentially spiritual. You can't take it away from it. So in this job, when you're letting a lot of spirits enter you and leave you, where roles are coming in and out, where you're detoxing, it's very important to have a spiritual center always for your mental health. You also have to have a strong anchor, you know, to keep you grounded, because this job it's brutal, it's heavenly, it's beautiful, it's bliss, and it is trouble, and it is mayhem, and it is chaos, but that is why we do it, you know. So those are the skills I feel have helped me, are still helping me, and I feel that will be very beneficial to especially up and comers.
Oh, Chika, there is this news making wave that the actors of the future are going to be AI. Mean, future
Uh,
whereby human humans there are no more needed to play roles. How are you seeing this
oh,
future? And are you afraid like AI will take your job?
to be honest, and in all humility, I don't think it even shakes me. Um, is it a possibility? Yeah, I mean, it's already happened. It's what they're already fighting for in Hollywood for people not to have access to actors' images and use them in perpetuity, with AI. So yeah, I think it's a possibility, but I also think it could work either way. It could also actually make human actors in higher demand because everybody now knows that there's something that AI cannot get. There are always going to be inadequacies. If it's not, if it, that advert, if it no be Panadol, it no fit be like Panadol. If it's not a human being, it cannot be. I'm sorry. I quote me, Ali. I am yet to believe that AI can substantially still be a replacement. I don't think it's possible. So I feel that people like us who are in this business should strive to even keep doing what we do, like make yourself so indispensable that a robot or a software cannot afford, like they have to come and get you because they know nobody or nothing can do it like you. I think that it is enough for us to, as actors, be more on our toes, so that we stay relevant, we stay in demand. And also, as we're staying on our toes, not forget that with AI comes a different set of skills to acquire. So don't say because AI can never do what you can do, you're not even going to know anything about it. Think about how you can rework or revolutionize your skills such that even in a world that is going increasingly digital, you're still relevant. What skills are you getting, right? I'm even stuck as I'm talking here, I'm talking to myself because I haven't mastered that yet. So I still am a bit of a dinosaur and I always push myself. I'm saying the world is going increasingly digital, even more so. So even as AI is taking over, there are many things that will be digitized. As an actor, don't be a novice about it. Know about it. Even when, because even in the art of warfare, you have to know more about your enemy than your friends. Even like you have to keep, yeah, know your enemy. Keep your friends close. Keep your
AI
enemies
is an
closer.
enemy.
Yes. Keep your enemies closer. Know all about it as you can, as much about it as you can. But just know this work. Know this work so well that it is a part and parcel of you. Know it so well that your name comes out when it's mentioned in the dictionary. Know it that well. That's all I would say to actors. Um, with respect to AI, I think there's still a lot more that we are even all discovering about it. So, well, let's see how it goes.
Oh, yeah, and you think like the industry needed acting coaches like you to have outcomes and established actors master that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be the acting coaches per se, but acting coaches could be a part of that conversation. Absolutely, yes. But I think fundamentally, it will have to come from more tech savvy quarters, really. So the burden isn't only on acting coaches and even the actors. I mean, I think it's a shared burden for all of us because AI is going to change the game for everybody. So everybody should be at least in the know about it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we are really happy to have you and share, get to learn so much from you. But Chika,
Thank you.
before we wrap up the show, what are your message? Actors, established actors, outcomes, and the aspiring ones.
That's a very tricky one because not one message seems like one message can't go out to everyone. But let me try. Actors. You are beautiful. You are one of the undiscovered, uncredited wonders of the world. The actor is so valuable, invaluable to society. Never doubt the place that you represent, no matter the slander, no matter the disdain, no matter how people seem to be prejudiced about our profession. You are one of the most veritable custodians of culture and of beauty and wonder. I don't know where society will be without movies and without art and without entertainment. So always carry yourself that way. Put your shoulders, like square your shoulders, keep your head up because you are custodians of the future. So that's what I will say to any
Wow,
actor. It's what I say to myself.
what a poetic statement. Really is amazing. It's amazing. So Nollywood is the second largest industry when it comes to volume, and the
Mm.
industry is just growing and is getting better. Where are you seeing this industry in 5, 10 years to come? And where are you seeing yourself?
Oh, good question. Future. I see myself as a I feel in 20 years' time, I would like to have my own academy, an acting school of my own. I think I'm seeing myself drifting towards teaching that I'm much later in my career. Um, I see myself in 20 years, I want to have done every single thing. Right now, I think the only thing I haven't done is featuring a music video yet. I want to try everything. If I can, even visual art, painting. I want to try everything that has to do with art. And by then, it will help me as an actor to even have a more rounded persona, right? I look forward to being that person that you step into a room with and you never forget in your entire life. You know, I look forward to being a personality that can have that level of influence on people, and I think that's why I've always kind of get known that I would go towards teaching, just impacting the next generation, being a custodian of legacy, of continuity, is something that resonates so much with me because I always think about it. Why is it that even in JAMB, the most brilliant students are not encouraged to go to federal colleges of education? Why do we wait for the people who have the third best grades to go to the teaching profession? Why are the brilliant minds not teaching? Why don't we make it conducive for somebody who graduates the first class and makes a distinction on master's level to say, I want to stay back in the university and make sure that there are other eggheads, there are other bright kids like me, you know. And so I always told myself that because it's such, maybe because teachers and lecturers had such a positive influence on my life. I feel like we need to encourage more of that. So like in 20 years, I feel like that's going to be something I would want to be remembered for, and be known for. In fact.
What up for the Nollywood as an industry? Where are you seeing it in 5 to 10 years?
Oh yeah, it was a two-pronged question. Yes, for Nollywood, Nollywood is going to be miles ahead. Like I said when I started the entire conversation, it's such an interesting time to be in Nollywood. Not only the streaming wars, the awareness is growing. People's minds are opening up, right? We come from a time when it was just about VHS and selling cassettes. Like marketers just wanted to sell their cassettes, right? And if movies happen to be on them, so I mean, all well and good. And then we realized that we could have an industry here. So I feel like in 20 years, I want to believe that earning power would have improved. Quality of service would have improved. Welfare, like insurance for actors, for instance, health insurance would have been improved. I want to believe that would have more stronger frameworks, right? People management will no longer be a rare thing. People would have access to all those things, having an agent for getting you jobs, having, and because you're well paid, you're able to maintain that infrastructure, right, for yourself. Having actors who can drive, no, I mean, very good cars at least. Having actors who can fend for themselves, having actors, or let me not say just actors, industry practitioners who don't have to delay on rent because an actor now na Nollywood now, they make money. It shouldn't be a thing anymore in 20 years, I'm hoping. An industry where there are residuals, which is very important, not just earning well when the movie is shot or before the movie is shot, but residuals where you can be earning checks from work you did 5 years ago. That is the Nollywood of 20 years I want to live in. Where you can bring out your work or your heart and do marvelous work that can pay your fees till the day you drop dead. That is the Nollywood I want to be in 20 years.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Ichichika Elomelu, for joining us in this fresh edition of the Nollywood Filmmakers, where we discuss business and all its value chain in the Nigerian film and TV industry. And we sincerely appreciate having you, Ichi.
Thank you. I hope I was of some help, being that I'm only 7 years in this industry. But I am a very keen observer, and I have seen the good, the bad, and ugly, like I said, and I would still be nowhere else. I would rather still be here. And I believe so much in Nollywood. I love all things Nollywood and African and Nigerian and authentically so. So thank you for having me. In a heartbeat, I was going to be here. This I never turned down an opportunity to talk about this industry that we love and and respect so much.
Really, that is amazing. The accommodation you offer us is really it's unforgettable. Cannot forget this.
Thank you,
And
thank
sincerely
you,
speaking, I, I find you very interesting and what you have shared with
oh,
us. I have some copies of questions I wanted to ask, but I feel there's no need. You
oh,
have
I'm so
covered me
sorry. I
all.
was just talking and talking. I wish you had stopped me. Oh, thank
No,
you.
you're making sense and you're adding value because when you just impact me, you add so much knowledge of me. I just
Thank
imagine
you.
seeing your love with geography meets your passion for acting one day because we are talking
Oh,
about climate
I love
change.
geography.
We are talking
One day
about
I want to I want to be a do you remember Goge Africa when we are growing up? I want to do a show like that where I can put my knowledge of geography to good use and I can also be a performer, like a TV host or presenter, and just travel and have people talk about the cultures of every place where I travel. Of course, I would like it to be in Nigeria. I mean, because I feel like we need to know more about where we are. Of course, there are challenges with traveling, but I can't wait till we get to a society where insecurity is no longer a thing to worry about, and we can actually have travel shows again. That's a dream of mine. So, sorry, I just thought to put that out. I just thought about it when you mentioned
yeah, yeah,
geography.
it's good. It's good. It's me just imagining you playing a role of a Nigerian climate activist looking for implementation of proper climate mechanics in Nigeria, fighting for. We are experiencing flooding right now in Nigeria. They are
Mm,
experiencing flooding in different part of Nigeria, and
Nigeria.
this may be as a result of some climate issues, lack of respecting our geography, and we are facing lots more of challenges. And I believe very soon some producers will tap into your knowledge, your experience, and we can see a movie being produced about climate change, whether they like it or not. NEMA, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and all these meteorological agencies to partner the creative industry and like, hey, oh, let's produce something to shape
I'd
generation.
love to see that.
And
Yes,
and I
I'd love to
believe
see that.
this future is something that we hope for because UN Week, the UN General Assembly is about the corner, and one of the biggest topics that will be dominating is climate change.
It's
A lot
climate
more
change.
filmmakers are exhibiting a lot more movies about climate change. And again, next the upper month is about COP, COP 28 that will be done in Dubai, hosted by Dubai. And still, filmmakers, a lot of filmmakers are going to exhibit their climate change movies. And so I'm talking about human geography, talking about space, talking about all such kind of things. And I believe you can pioneer this in Nigeria. Movies about climate change, documentaries, it's a lot. Just you putting in something in my head.
That's good. That's
because
good. That's why
your love
it's
for
important to have these
geography is
conversations.
unrivaled.
I love geography. I love it
So
so much, and I'm glad that it was what I chose to be trained as, like as a geographer. It has opened up my mind so deeply and so widely, and I still feel that geography shouldn't be an elective course at senior secondary level. I wish everybody had to do it till SS3 at least. Um, because it's so important to know the world. Like, how can you be on Earth and you don't really have an in-depth understanding of the world around you? And at least at senior secondary school level, um, you know. So, don't
yeah,
mind me.
I always
I
get
always
surprised
wondered
when
how it was an
well,
elective course. Like, it shouldn't have been, you know.
just like
But
history, geography should not. And
yes,
before, this is
exactly.
how things
Geography
are.
and history shouldn't
Because
have been.
when my mom told me like, hey, telling me about the world, telling me about different countries, capitals, maps,
Yes,
locations,
capitals,
oceans, space,
exactly.
I feel very amazing. Why at my age I don't know about Trinidad and
These are the
Tobago?
things,
I don't know
yeah.
about a
A
lot more of
suspended lake.
islands.
You don't know that. Things like that.
And she
Crater
told me like
lakes,
she showed me
islands.
pictures where they go for outing, they mold the like different parts of the world, regions. They do all these
Yes.
cultural things. It's part of their assignments in geography, and
Geography.
they draw the world. They do a lot more things about geography, and when they are talking about human geography, I learn about global drift the first time from my mom, and she told me like this is something
Ah.
that she learned while in just elementary school. It's not something